Susie and Francis, back to the Zoom room. Nice to see you both. So let's jump into quote for today, and there's a bit of teaching around that. And we'll then go into our lesson. That should take us till about 3 o'clock. Said you had to go. So give me a moment just to get the live stream going. And I'll share my screen with you. Okay. So on my screen, bigger. All right, if you can read that quote for us, Susie, that would be great.
The real difficulty
Can you see
is
the screen?
Yeah, I'm looking at it on my phone at the minute because it's I'm on a different device and I can't hardly see it on my device. But the real difficulty is to overcome how you think about yourself. If we don't do that, we never grow, we never learn, and sure as hell, we should never teach.
How you think about yourself. Maya Angelou is an African-American poet, writer, civil rights activist, and mentor to Oprah Winfrey. Interestingly, she clearly states what the only real difficulty we ever have in life is to overcome our negative, and I say it that way because negative thoughts negate the truth of who we are. So you might say, what of negative thoughts about others? Surely these need to be overcome too if I'm going to be consistently happy and peaceful. And that's true because of the ego's law of projection. All negative thoughts are really about yourself. So what you're seeing is the mirror of you, and then you judge it. And you condemn it, and you think you're condemning someone else. It's bizarre, but you're actually condemning yourself. Which is why all judgment and all attack is really self-judgment and self-attack. So when you overcome them, these negative thoughts and emotions, it's really to let go of your own negative and therefore false self-concept that's been triggered to arise in your mind by some seemingly external person or circumstance. Right? So it's to let go of your own false self-concept. Another way of saying the same thing is that you're always judging yourself because everyone and everything is a mirror that reflects your own beliefs back to you. For example, if you have a belief that you're unworthy of love, which is the ego's foundational belief, so almost everyone in this world does, you'll keep feeling that you're being rejected and attacked by others when this is actually your own false belief about who you are, projected out of your mind and returning back to you like a boomerang in the form of the seeming. So they just become the agents, really, for this ego's thought system to now act out the judgment and the attack, the self-judgment and the self-attack, which is a very cunning thought system, isn't it? That's how the ego has sustained itself for a long, long time, because it seems to be external to you. So the ego is telling you that your perceptions are not happening because of your desires and your beliefs and thoughts and emotions. Your perceptions are happening because of the external world. But it fails to tell you that your perceptions are a result of a thought system, which is the beliefs, thoughts, and emotions that underlie every perception. So it comes down to a belief system. And you're also projecting out, into the quantum field. Your thoughts and emotions are going out, and those are programming it to bring back certain kinds of experiences, certain kinds of sensory data. So we are programmed to perceive a certain way. We project stuff out. We then perceive it as such from the same belief system. And so it's a closed loop based on a belief system. And then we think that that's reality. And it's not. It's a mirror effect. It's being projected out. And then we perceive what's within, but we think it's outside of ourselves and we think it's real. And so we judge it as real. And that judgment in our perception reinforces the thought system, beliefs, thoughts, and emotions, and the fundamental desire to be a separate self of the ego. So Yeshua says at some point, projection makes perception. As you project from a certain thought system, only the ego projects from the idea of separation. The Holy Spirit only extends. So projection is an egoic term. As you project, so will you perceive. And projection makes perception. It's a direct quote from the text. Projection makes perception. And the world is nothing more than what you gave it, but neither is it less. So it's just a projection or reflection of your own beliefs. When you understand that, and you see how understanding this can really help you to undo the ego. Because now you have the mirror of the world. It's showing you in this mirror your subconscious mind. All of your beliefs and thoughts and emotions are demonstrated for you in the mirror that the world provides. So you don't have to dig within and really also what's going on there. You can start to get access to them through the external world. So you see them reflected in the external world. You still experience them as emotion. So you have a thought and an emotion, but those have been triggered to arise from the mirror that the external world is. And so that's very helpful because now they've arisen. You can look at them, look at these emotions and thoughts and beliefs that underlie the ego's misperceptions and choose to let them go. Which means that the ego's seeming stronghold, this world that it's convinced us is real through projection, this is actually its weakest point. This is the mechanism of awakening through the projection perception mechanism. Once you turn it around and you realize that that's how you can undo the ego, it has no answer to that really, other than to keep projecting. And so it might amp up the intensity of the projections to try and convince you they're real. But as it does that, the reinterpretation would say, well, these are just showing me more of my false self. So this is helpful. I can let them go. But you see how the projection perception mechanism that the ego uses to defend itself is actually its undoing. It's Achilles heel. And there's nothing it can do about it if you consistently reinterpret it. As the denial of God or infinite eternal love, and therefore of your true self. Your little self-concept or ego will always feel unworthy of its existence and constantly under threat from a harsh external world. So that's its nature. It's always going to feel dissatisfied, unworthy, dissatisfied, constantly under threat. This is the ego's so-called reality.
I think the more you talk about it, I'm just saying, the more you talk about it, the more I realise it was, being the happiness coach. It just makes me laugh now because that's how I was living. That's how I was working. you know,
Mm.
and it says there that you should never teach because your belief was so, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, but that's why you stopped, you see. That's why
Yeah,
you stopped, because there was
yeah,
something in you was like, this isn't right. So
no.
I can't teach it if I haven't, learned it myself, or at least
Mm,
am learning it. I mean, if we all had to be absolutely perfect before we taught, no one would teach anything. But we as long as you're on the right track, you're in this process of really undoing the ego. If you're 1 or 2 steps ahead of others, you can teach them, because you've had a little bit more experience, a little bit more understanding of really what is it's a simple idea, what we're studying. You think, well, why do we have to study so long and so hard and practice, when it's such a simple idea? Because it's so radical. In this world, it's absolutely the reverse of everything you've been conditioned to believe. That's why. So although it's simple, it's just going completely against everything that you've learned up to this point. And so that takes, quite a lot of mind training to accomplish, really, really undo the ego's thought system. So one of the key insights of this is that the unworthiness of the ego, because the ego doesn't feel worth existence because it's a denial of love. That unworthiness is behind all dissatisfaction. That's the source of the dissatisfaction. I feel unworthy. Now I project that out, and I see my unworthiness reflected in a world that doesn't quite, cut it, and it never satisfies me, which then perpetuates the belief that, well, I'm not quite, worthy of happiness and peace and success and so on. So it's all tied up with the ego's self-concept. But if you're really the pure formless awareness of infinite eternal love, then how can you identify with such a ridiculously limited self-concept and expect anything other than insane and dysfunctional results? The results of your belief in this false self projected from your mind seem insane. It's because the egoic self that causes them is insane, completely insane. Unless you're willing to look at this false self-concept with brutal honesty, see it for exactly what it is, right? The ego's false self-concept is just a denial of your true self, nothing other than that. And its only existence lies in the denial. It only has existence because it's denied what's true. Your true self is unconditional love, and everything good, beautiful, and true that goes with love. Then you see that really all I've got to do is let go of the negative thoughts and emotions that give it apparent existence. How does the ego exist? Because it exists in and by these negative thoughts that negate your true self, and they negate goodness and beauty and truth. And then they seem to have some kind of reality, negative reality, negative reality. So they arise in response to seemingly external circumstances, but actually they're just part of the negative thought system of the ego. So our job is to let go of the negative thoughts and emotions that give it apparent existence as they arise in our minds in response to seemingly external circumstances. And that is the one thing you've got to do, right? That's all you've got to do. To Michael Singer, who's everything else is just a means to that end. So you might be meditating for hours a day or doing other spiritual practices. That's all just designed to help you to let go of the negative thoughts and emotions that cause you to be unhappy, cause the truth to be covered over in your mind. And unless you do that, so unless you really commit and you say, okay, I'm going to let go without exception, no matter what, I will let go of whatever's negative and doesn't serve me. You can't grow spiritually or learn or teach anything of any real value. So what you're starting to see, Susie, you were talking about, Joe Dispenza and conscious manifestation, and you start to go, I'm over that. That doesn't add any value anymore because it's not the ultimate truth. The only thing that's going to work in this world is to let go of my mental and emotional, psychological attachment to everything. When I can do that, then I'm on my spiritual path. I'm practicing the course. I'm growing. I'm learning. I'm doing the best I can in every situation when I let go. And then the art of it is, well, does that mean you do nothing? No, not necessarily. So it doesn't necessarily mean you do nothing. But your action is guided. What you do is now guided rather than forced, and it's not based on the ego's thought system. Okay, so there's a bonus session for you there. We talked about it when you said, I'm constantly meditating. This is what the Apostle Paul meant when he said, pray without ceasing. It's a quote from the Bible. Well, that doesn't literally mean you go around, with hands clasped and say prayers 24/7. That's not realistic. It means that you're connected to your source, and there's a deeper awareness coming through you always, and so that you're vigilant. I think to pray without ceasing, one of the key requirements is a constant awareness. Be continuously aware of what's arising, so that you can let go of what's not helpful. The simple 2-step formula for letting go is, first of all, awareness. You need to be aware of what's not helpful, what's negative, and then step 2, choose to let it go. Okay, so there's a vast discussion there for you to listen to. If you're interested, dive into that. And all of this should prepare you well for our lesson today, which is lesson 165 we're on to. So let's ask Francis if you can read the... Francis, can you read the original and the alternative in the slide, and then paragraph 1 below that for us?
Yeah, okay. Let my mind not deny the thought of God. I will not deny my awareness of perfect love.
So the thought of God, I've translated thought as awareness, because it's just a fundamental awareness. It's beyond, when he uses thought in the capitalized sense, it's not the same as thought in the small t. The small t. So small t thoughts are thoughts about yourself, from your self-concept, time and space, whatever you're thinking about this world. Thought of God is completely, transcends that. So it's really a denial of awareness, perfect love. That's the problem. If you think about any negative thought, what does it do? It denies this awareness. You're not in perfect love anymore. There's another awareness in your mind that's disturbing that covers that over. You can't be aware of perfect love as long as you've got that other awareness going on. Okay, so if you want to read number 1 for us.
The alternative. Yeah. Okay. What makes this world seem real?
Yeah, I'm going to translate. Yep,
So,
carry on.
will I read both of them No, just alternative, yeah.
Yeah, not much to translate.
Yeah. What makes this world seem real except my own denial of the truth that lies beyond? What except my thoughts of misery and death obscure the perfect happiness and the eternal life my source wills for me? And what would hide what cannot be concealed except illusion? What could keep from me what I already have except my choice not to perceive it and to deny it is there?
Okay, so what's he saying in that paragraph in summary?
I think it's like the fear of death, and the fear, especially the fear of death, it keeps us in like illusion. It keeps us from perceiving perfect happiness as it is. Because when it says the truth that lies beyond, like what lies beyond death, the other side of it. And if we allowed, because life is all about death and rebirth anyways, like you can see it in nature and all that. So it's so what's beyond it really? And humans have just fear and an abstract concept of death, and that keeps us really from happiness.
Yeah, the perennial philosophy, which is underlies every great spiritual teaching, teaches that there's a transcendent reality, that there is another reality beyond this one, and death is a portal to that. To enter that reality, you actually you have to let the body go. So death is the departure from this world into another. That's the essence of the perennial philosophy, and every spiritual teaching that's part of it. And in modern science, the scientific materialist paradigm has denied that and said, no, we're just bodies. That's our reality. We bodies, and even consciousness is a product of the brain function. So when the brain dies, then consciousness disappears. It's a very unsatisfactory model, and there's huge problems with it. As they will, those who are honest will acknowledge, well, how do they explain consciousness within that model? They can't really, can they? It's a product of brain function. Hang on, except there's many experiences people have had where they're not in their body. They'll leave the body and they can look down on themselves. So now how could there be consciousness be floating outside of the body if their consciousness was a product of brain function? See, there's a massive problems, because the truth is it's not correct belief. It's false. The evidence doesn't support it. How could we have near-death experiences if you were a product of just our brain function? Because the brain dies 15 seconds after death. There's no electrical activity in the brain at all. It's dead. And yet people can, in that time, they can be gone for minutes, sometimes longer, and they come back and they go, wow, I just had a profound experience. Well, but apparently you shouldn't have had any consciousness because your brain died. So the evidence just doesn't stack up to support it, as honest scientists will say, like Rupert Sheldrake. If you read that article I sent out a while ago, and there was a great video, TED talk that he did for about 20 minutes on it, which actually got banned, believe it or not. TED pulled it down from their platform because it was too controversial. Crazy. So it just shows you the level of investment. The ego's investment in that paradigm is huge. The idea that we're bodies, and we're just our brains, and well, it's the religion of death. then death is inevitable. For your body, it's a done deal. You're going to die, and then you cease to exist, according to them. Well, I mean, how do you make sense of that? How do you, as you're approaching, old age and death? Well, where do you go with that belief? It just leads you to a dead end, really, literally. Your consciousness is supposed to stop after death. That's it. Game over. You got one life. Consciousness was an accidental byproduct of brain function, and then you're gone and you're dead, and when you're dead, and that's it. But the evidence doesn't support that theory at all. There's much evidence of near-death experiences and the afterlife, and then people come back and they reincarnate, and people can tell you about their experiences from this other world. Okay, so any other thoughts on number one?
No, I'm good.
So only the illusions of this world can deny the truth. Is really the key idea. Only if you choose to believe them.
Yeah.
These things are offered to you for your belief, but you don't have to believe the scientific materialist paradigm if you don't choose to. You can choose to believe what you want. Fortunately, we live in a world now where you do have that freedom of belief. If you did believe in one dogma, and people would persecute you and even kill you because of your belief. It's bizarre, but that's how human history has gone. But in today's world, we're very lucky that, free to believe whatever you want, and no one can persecute you for that. It's your choice. So best we exercise that power of choice wisely, because if we don't, then our beliefs will hurt us. So what Yeshua is saying, your beliefs the power of your beliefs is mighty. They can either hurt you and crucify you, or they can make you peaceful and happy, bring you eternal life. Okay. So number two, happy to move on to number two. I think let's just do a bit of translation. The thought of God here. Thought of God will be the awareness of perfect love, just so you know. That's how I've translated it. All right, so number two, Susie, if you can read that one for us. Please.
The awareness of perfect love extends me. It did not leave me, nor have I ever been apart from it for a moment. It belongs to me. I live by it. It is my source of life, holding me one with itself, and everything is one with me, because it did not leave me. I've got somebody at the door, just bear with me.
That's your dog. Okay. No problem. We'll switch it to Elaine. Elaine, do you want to carry on? Okay, Elaine's not responding. So, Francis, would you like to read that one as well? You there?
Yeah. Okay, I'll just the awareness.
Yeah, started from the top.
Yeah, the awareness of perfect love extends me. It did not leave me, nor have I ever been apart from it for a moment. It belongs to me. I live by it. It is my source of life, keeping me one with itself, and everything is one with me because it did not leave me. The awareness of perfect love protects me, cares for me, makes my resting place soft and smooth my way, lighting my mind with happiness and love. Eternity and everlasting life shines in my awareness, because the awareness of perfect love has not left me and it is still with me. It's very nice. It's very nice.
Yeah.
It's very hopeful, very very nurturing kind of
Yeah, reassuring,
yeah,
sustaining, comforting.
Yeah, all that. Yeah, I feel that. I feel, and it's like I understand it experientially, like, you know, I've experienced that that being part of the awareness of perfect love's embrace there. So
yeah, in the end, you know, the words are just pointers. You know, we can talk about the ideas, the concepts. It's a starting point, but it's about taking you into the feeling of it. You can start experiencing what he's pointing to in the words, and it comes to be known in your own experience, and that's knowledge. You actually know that it's true because you've experienced it. How can you deny what you've experienced? Always possible, I suppose. The ego can come in and misinterpret. So the scientific materialists would typically say, oh, well, you know, you experienced some kind of bliss or ecstasy or deep peace or happiness, and they'll call these hallucinations of the mind. They'll just say, well, that's just a product of your brain function and chemicals. You know, you had dopamine and serotonin going on, so you know the chemicals. What's behind it? Because if they acknowledge that actually, you know, is an experience that's independent of the mind, of the brain, and the body, then the entire paradigm collapses. And that experience, then, well, why would you want anything else but that experience? Why would you continuously choose to come into this world? There's that experience available, you know, so it's heaven, eternity. It's a glimpse of that eternal state in which your mind can rest. And of course, the ego, being the denial of that, must deny it. And that's why, you know, we have a dominant worldview, which is really a religion, because all religion is a bunch of beliefs that people hold to, religare, and then they tied to. Religare means to bind or to tie together. So, you know, the thought system that ties people together, but it binds them to their ego. There's no accident that is that thought system, the dominant religion of this world, is completely the opposite of heaven. You know, it's telling you the opposite of happiness and love and peace and joy for yourself and others. And you know you can't have those. And that actually suffering and pain and misery and sickness and death are reality, and don't you forget it. Okay. Any other thoughts on number 2?
No.
3 then?
Thanks for that. I like that. That was really good, apart from the dog barking and somebody knocking on my door.
Well, no, just go with the flow, let it go with the flow. So do you want to read the next one for us? Who really wants to deny their safety and their peace?
Okie doke. Who really wants to deny their safety and their peace, their joy, their healing, and their peace of mind, their quiet rest and their calm awakening, if they only recognized where these live?
I'm just going to make that a bit.
Would they not immediately prepare to go? Oh,
Sorry, I'm just. Yeah. Would they not immediately prepare?
Would they not immediately prepare to go where these are found, abandoning all else as worthless in comparison with them? And having found them, would they not make sure they stay with them and these gifts remain with them?
Hmm. What's he saying here in summary?
Why would you deny the truth of who you are when it's always here, available? You wouldn't want to do that, would you? If you've got the peace and the love and the joy within you, why would you deny that for anything else? It's actually, like you said, when you're practicing and having to go to that place, it's not even a place, is it? Because it is here. It's the belief.
It's a state of mind, yeah. So again, with questions, he's teaching us and saying, well, does this make any sense? Would you really want to do this? If you see the options logically, you can have peace of mind and joy and healing and quiet rest and calm awakening. Or you can have hell, state of victimhood and suffering. Oh. So that's such a difficult choice to make. If you've made it once, why wouldn't you want to stay there? You can feel peaceful, you can feel happy, you can feel calm, no matter what seems to be happening. Why wouldn't you want to stay there in that state? No reason, is there? Yeah. So through the questioning, he's trying to help you to see the insanity of the ego's thought system. It doesn't make sense. Okay, so you can find peace and happiness and love and joy within you. Why would you go anywhere else? Why would you look outside if it's all there? But most people still do, because they're so thoroughly denied that in themselves that they don't know it's there. And then they think their only hope is to, get some kind of satisfaction externally. So they seek for gratification externally. Okay. So any thoughts, comments, questions on number 3?
It all goes back to that dissatisfaction we were talking about at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like you said, it took the Buddha all those years to realise that everybody, and that's what I was noticing the other day when we were talking about it. And then noticing it all around you, anywhere that you go. It's like an addiction, isn't it? The addiction to the meaning that people give.
And nothing much has changed. 2,500 years ago, the Buddha said everyone's in dukkha, he called it, this dissatisfaction, suffering. Have things really changed? We've gone on this whole journey as a species and supposedly much more advanced now, and we've got all this technology, all this material progress, but has the mind really changed that much? No.
Bloody hell.
So it's the same story, the underlying dissatisfaction and seeking outside of yourself for some resolution to that. And now that whole system has got entrenched into our society as the commercial world, is the world of buying stuff external to you to find satisfaction. And there's always someone willing to sell you what you think you want.
quite sad, isn't it, when you talk about Buddha in that way? He's done all that and you've got modern technology and it's still the same.
Nothing's really changed, but it's not really sad when you understand it. You go, well, actually, all of that, the answer doesn't lie. See, what it does then is it gets you off the track of, oh, well, if we just do something more, if we work harder and we develop more technology, we'll solve all humanity's problems. It gets you off that, because that's an illusion. It's never, has technology ever eliminated sickness and pain and suffering and death? There isn't a technology that exists that can do that, is there? So we need to just recognize that simple truth. Okay, so so be it. And so I'm not going to seek for anything outside of me. It doesn't exist outside. It lies within me. Not reliant on the external world at all. It's not about technology. It's not about anything other than my own true awareness, which is enough, right? If I'm in my true awareness, then that's enough. There's everything I really want is there. So then I am enough, and the world is enough, and everything's okay. I don't have that craving anymore to try and get something outside of me. So he's saying to us, well, why would you go and look at other things? Why wouldn't you just abandon all else as worthless in comparison with these inner gifts of peace of mind, joy, healing, quiet rest, calm awakening? If that's all within you, offering you eternal peace and happiness, why would you go look elsewhere? No good reason, is there?
No.
So that's what he's trying to do, is eliminate in our mind the seeking and the not finding. That's the ego's program. Seek and do not find. So I'm dissatisfied because I feel unworthy, because I've denied my source, but I'm not going to tell you that real reason. So I'm going to get you to go and chase something outside of you to try and fill this void. And actually it'll never work. You'll never be satisfied. So you'll just continuously have to seek and never really find the answer. And that's enormously dissatisfying. If you keep doing that, it's so frustrating. And in the end, it just seems to be pointless. It's futile. Or it doesn't matter what I do. I'll never find it. No, you won't. And not outside of you. So we can accept that. That is a major learning. As a human being, that's huge learning. You can accept that this world offers you nothing that you truly want. It's actually worthless. And everything lies within you. And it's already there. That's the whole spiritual path right there. If you know that, that's knowledge. So it's a very simple, key idea, but to actually live it requires you've got to let go of a lot of illusions. Most people have got all kinds of illusions populating their minds. And sabotage them over and over and over again. Okay, any other thoughts on number 3?
No.
Okay, so number 4, deny not heaven. I think it's Elaine's turn. Elaine, are you there? You're just listening in. Doesn't seem to be responding. Okay. So Francis, if you can read, deny not heaven. Not deny so heaven is the state of pure formless awareness. God becomes pure formless awareness of perfect love. And those are going to be the 2 translations.
Will I do the translation or just the translated?
If you, I think we can just read if you know that seven is a state of pure formless awareness, and that's the key one there, and then God is pure formless awareness of perfect love.
Okay.
Alternative.
I will not deny the state of pure formless awareness. It is mine today when I ask for it, nor need I perceive how great the gift and how changed my awareness will be before it can come into my awareness. I ask to receive, and so it is given to me. Conviction lies in asking and receiving. Until I welcome it as mine, uncertainty remains. Pure formless awareness of perfect love is there. I do not need to be certain to receive what only my acceptance can bring me.
Okay. So what's he saying there? Summary.
I'm not sure with number 6, until I welcome it as mine, uncertainty remains. Because it's like, so for me, everything else is saying, you believe, you ask, you believe, and you receive it. So it's like, to say until I welcome it as mine, uncertainty remains feels very contradictory to me.
Okay, interesting.
Because it's saying like uncertainty is going to remain until it's in my awareness. And it's like, should certainty not be there before it's in your awareness? Should the certainty that we are, pure formless awareness, perfect love, that certainty, and then you experience it because of the certainty. So it's just just feels a bit contradictory to me.
I do not need to be certain, right? So you don't have to be 100% absolutely, because 100% certainty in this is enlightenment, right? That's full knowledge, full awakening. That's okay. There's absolutely no doubt at all, because I'm so rooted in this presence. I'm, in samadhi, for instance, as a Indian guru or something. And I just absolutely know the truth because I'm blissed out most of the time. So he's saying you don't need to be absolutely certain to start with. You just need to welcome it. Just say, yes, I'm open to this. I'm welcoming this in. You have a home here. I'm willing to accept this teaching. I'm willing to accept the principles. I'm willing to accept that letting go is the only way. And doubts might still come, because the ego, that's how it works. It works on the basis of doubt and cultivating uncertainty. But I can still receive these gifts. I just, I need to remind myself in that moment of uncertainty and doubt. I remind myself, yes, I choose love here. I welcome it as mine right now, and that then starts to undo the uncertainty. So in practice, it's a process. You don't get to certainty without a long journey, generally, to get there. The ego comes and it goes, and it vacillates, and the uncertainties come, and the doubts arise, and then, this path is all about overcoming the uncertainties through a systematic, progressive approach of letting go. And then, as you do that, as you overcome each uncertainty and each doubt, you get more certain, don't you? Like, okay, well, that's another obstacle that is out of the way, and the ego can't convince me anymore that's true. And so, that's how it goes. Enlightenment is a journey. Keep removing uncertainties as they cross up, and
Okay.
and then
So
yeah.
and like when we welcome everything as ours, then this uncertainty is gone.
Yeah. So if you're feeling uncertain, and you feel that fear arising, because uncertainty and fear go hand in hand. It's like, oh, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Well, okay, but I welcome this in. I can remind myself that everything is really within me. It's all fine. And I'm not going to resist this. I'm going to welcome this presence in of perfect love, pure formless oneness of perfect love right now. And you let that calmness wash over you in the moment. And then, your fears will dissipate. The uncertainty will dissipate or be gone entirely. And you rest in that peaceful state. And if you can do it in that moment, then you can do it in any moment. It's the same approach to any fear. So he's saying you don't have to have certainty yet, because he knows that, most of us don't. That the ego will come in with the uncertainties and the doubts, but you just have to welcome it. Say, okay, I'm open to this. Show me. I'm asking for peace of mind here. Show me how to perceive this properly. And these are the kinds of thoughts he gives us in the workbook to train our minds to be able to really ask. Does that clarify it for you?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It does.
Which is fortunate. If we needed certainty, then okay, you could only have happiness and peace when you're perfectly enlightened. Okay, but that's kind of a circular process, because you'd say, then what's the point of a course in training you? Because you just need to be there. You're there or you're not. Oh, you're not. Oh, sorry for you. Then there's no way you can attain it, because you're not certain right now. So it's quite a key point, actually. This is a process, and the ego is going to arise from time to time and bring in uncertainty and doubt. But then there's a way to deal with it. You go into the pure formless awareness of perfect love, and you ask. You're willing to accept its help. That's really the key point. I'm willing to be open and accept this reinterpretation of my ego to free myself. Okay, so that makes sense. A work in progress, and we can work at it, and we can just be willing. I think that's really the very comforting thing. In any situation, if you're willing to accept the guidance of the Holy Spirit, the remembrance of perfect love, you're willing to listen, then that's all that's needed, because that little willingness allows another thought system to come in and start the transformation process. And once you're willing, some change happens. Maybe not that big to start with. You may still have quite a lot of fear, but then, okay, I'll just keep being willing. Every time the fear comes up, I'll be willing to let it go. And that's the way you undo it. Whereas if you're not willing and you just dwell in the fear, then the Holy Spirit can't help you, because there wasn't any willingness. Okay, so number 5, ask with desire. And I actually translated that because I didn't like the word desire. So see if Elaine's around. Elaine, are you around to read or not? Otherwise, back to Susie. If you can read number 5. I think read this in the original as well. So I just want to see, so you see the translations I made. Ask with desire, and then alternatively the line by line below.
Ask with.
I was just going to say, when in your little thing, desire and prayer is the same thing. Would you not say ask with prayer as the transformation, as a? Yeah,
maybe, but the true prayer is actually saying it is already. It's just to to affirm the truth that love is already there. So I ask with desire, ask with confidence, ask by praying. I don't think ask with prayer would be changing it too much. I ask with confidence. Happy with that? I ask with.
No, it was just something that I noticed that came up.
Yeah. Well, the true prayer is actually letting go. That's what true prayer is. True prayer is the prayer for forgiveness, or for letting go. So he teaches us in another part of the text that the true prayer is just to let go, and everything will be given to you when you let go. So you don't need to desire anything. You just need to let go of whatever's disturbing your peace. Question anything I want. I ask with confidence, but then that sort of contradicts the second one. I need not be sure. Request anything I want when I've received. I ask with intent, maybe.
Oh yeah, intent. Intent is good.
I like intent.
I do actually. Yeah, I ask with intent. Yeah.
I ask with intent.
The intent is like a prayer. Yeah.
Maybe intent. I ask with intent. So there's a focused sort of intent to my. I choose this. Not so much I want it, because wanting even enlightenment puts you in a state of craving, but it's more of an intention. That's what I was trying to communicate with the confidence. It's like, okay, yes, I'm making a choice here. It's my intention to do this. So I ask for it with intent, and the intent then is much more than just a wish or a desire. It's actually a firm intent for this to happen. Anyway. Okay, so I asked with intent. We'll leave it at that. Number 2, Susie.
I was going to say I like confidence, but it's good to listen and just change things. Ask with desire. Did you want me to do the alternative all the way through, or?
Do the alternative until you get to number 6, and we've got the eyes of Christ and thought of God. So just do it until number 6. Yeah.
I ask with intent. I need not be sure that I request the only thing I want. But when I have received, I will be sure I have the treasure I've always sought. What would I then want to exchange for it? What would induce me to let it fade away from my ecstatic vision? For this perception proves that I have exchanged my blindness for the true perception of my true self. My mind has let go of denial, and I have accepted the pure, formless awareness of perfect love as my inheritance. Wow.
So read that number 6 in the original, just so you can see what it changed. For this sight proves that you've exchanged your blindness, seeing eyes of Christ.
For this sight proves that you have exchanged your blindness for the seeing eyes of Christ. Your mind has come to lay aside denial and accept the thought of God as your inheritance. you can definitely tell with the other one. I'm really glad I read the other one because it felt like something dissolved as I was saying that, and I could sense it in my head. Do you know what I mean? Now it's like I'm glad I'd read that instead of that first of number 6 that you just told me to read, because that didn't feel right for me.
So the language just kind of maybe unlocks an experience. That's that's why we translate it. It's really to experience the words on a deeper level. Accepted the pure formless awareness of perfect love as my inheritance. So our language, it's less about concepts. Thought of God is quite conceptual. What is thought of God? What does the thought of God even mean? A lot of people will be like, I don't even know what that means. Okay, but it's the awareness. It's the pure formless awareness of perfect love. Right? So it's a state of awareness. That's all it means. And that state of awareness is my inheritance. That was my original state, and that's the state my mind's returning to. That's the truth of who I really am. Okay, so any thoughts on number 5? Exchange my blindness. I think he's saying just be a little willing. You don't have to get it all right straight away. Some people, especially the perfectionist types, are like, oh, I've got to get it all right already. I've got to be enlightened already. And then I don't get it right, and I kind of beat myself up and go, sorry, you're so unenlightened. Oh, well, the ego says, give it all up then. You're never going to get this. So just give it up and go back to being an ego slob. Because it's threatened by this. Well, actually, if you just have this very sort of kind, loving, patient attitude with yourself, okay, well, I don't get it all at once. Of course, I'm not going to get it all at once. It's a work in progress. I'm going to make mistakes along the way. That's okay. As long as I'm aware of them and I correct them. And that's why it's a journey. If it was like, oh, snap your fingers and you there, we'd all do it. So it would be easy. But it's a profound journey of awakening that you've got to walk the path for the rest of your life. And so if you accept that, there's a lot of peace that comes from that. Okay, it's a work in progress. I'm doing okay. I'm on my journey. I can kind of relax because, even if I don't fully get it in this lifetime, well, nothing's lost. I'll have another one. I have as many lifetimes as I want to get it right. So then there's a kind of a sense of ease and grace on the path. The last thing you want in a spiritual path, because it's completely counterproductive, is stressing, straining, and striving. Enlightenment doesn't really work that way, does it? Oh, no, right. I've got a goal, 6 months to enlightenment. It doesn't work that way, does it? It's a ridiculous idea. And then it's like 6 months. How will you tell whether you're enlightened? Oh, I have no negative thoughts. Okay, well, that's your standard, I guess. All right. And then 6 months comes around and you're like, okay, well, I managed for 10 minutes and then, negative thought. Oh, I'm still not doing it. You idiot. Why can't you get this right? And so you set yourself up for failure, which is the ego's game. Well, it's all right. So a thought comes, negative thought comes, I notice it, I just realize where it's coming from and I let it go and it just kind of blows away. Then it has no power really to affect me because I didn't allow it to dwell and didn't allow it to create more negative thoughts and emotions. Certainly didn't allow it to inspire, to produce words or actions. And so, enlightened. It's a guy called Ramakrishna actually who was asked, do you still get negative thoughts? And I think his disciples were, expecting him to say no. He said, no, from time to time. They do come, but they come and they go. They don't stick. We're just like, leaves drifting by in the wind, just sort of blown away, and they don't sit. Whereas an untrained mind, the negative thoughts come, and then they sit, and they have a hold in the mind, and then it leads to negative emotions. And then one thought leads to another thought, leads to another emotion. Suddenly you have, full-on complex, and if that remains, and the mood becomes a permanent state, and that person gets stuck in that negative state. It is not what we want. So, just saying, be a little willing, and trust the process, and that it'll all work out if you do that. Ultimately get back home to the total enlightenment, pure formless awareness of perfect love and nothing else. If you're just willing to follow the path. Okay, so now is all doubting past. So it doesn't look like Elaine's reading today. So Francis, you can read that.
Yeah, I'm back. Apologize there. My husband's wallet's been stolen. So
no doubt. Okay.
So I have, but yeah, so I did, as you say, I did feel a knot in my stomach. And then I thought, oh, what can you do? You keep saying it's 300 euros gone, but it's not the money that's gone. It's all those cards, all the cards, his identity cards. Luckily, luck would have it that I had his passport. Luck would have it, but so I'm hanging on to that.
Yes.
But yes, yeah, because I noticed yesterday he was just in a strange state, and he was behaving very peculiar, and he was very, very, very down. So I guess it must be part of his problem that he's got. And I couldn't say too much. I thought I'll have to keep silent here, because whatever I was saying, it was upsetting him, and I don't think he was in his right mind. And somebody's seen it, because they do detect people that behave in strange ways, and I think somebody's pickpocketed him. Hopefully, I mean, we've searched in every single drawer and under the bed, in the safe, and you name it, but it's not there. But how do I tell him? But I think that's what's happened to him, and he's in a right state now. Hopefully he finds it. Oh, look, he's coming down the stairs. Hopefully he's found it. Have you found it, Dave? Right. So I know, as you rightly say, we have to keep calm and not go crazy.
It's a bit worrying.
Yeah.
All the passwords on.
Sorry, yes, I'm interrupting the class there. It's just obviously that's why I.
Well, okay. Do you want to read for us, or let's listen in?
Could I just listen in for a little while and still help Dave to try and look for it? Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So, Francis, if you can read
Okay.
number 6.
Now all doubting is past. The journey's end certain, and awakening given to me. Now is my true self's power in my mind to heal as I was healed. For now I am among the awakeners of the world. My destiny lies here and nowhere else. Would pure formless awareness of perfect love's consent to let its extension remain forever starved by its denial of nourishment? It needs to live. Abundance dwells in it. Its deprivation cannot cut it off from perfect love, sustaining love, and its home.
So, what's he saying here? Summary.
I think that when the doubting has passed, now I'm not sure. Just that, that when you get to the end of the journey, maybe, and the doubting has passed and awakening has happened, then we become Christ-like, the healers of the world, the saviors of the world.
My destiny lies here, nowhere else.
Yeah, that this is the
Saying
destiny.
this is your single purpose, to become the healer, the awakener of the world, and demonstrate this thought system to everyone. And then you become, if you're the Christ, you're an extreme outlier. This is unusual. Most people are not there or close to that. So of the 4% that David Hawkins says are on some kind of interested in spirituality, how many will attain go the whole way into the true self and identify with that and that alone? The very even tiny percentage. But he's asking you to do that, saying your destiny is here. You're reading these words for a reason. You be the Christ. You be the true self. And you demonstrate it in the world to everyone, everyone who you encounter. And you teach them through your presence that this is the truth. And then the idea of abundance dwelling in it. Abundance dwells in it. Abundance lies in it, maybe. So true abundance comes from this state of mind. That's the only state worthy of the name, abundance. And again, a lot of people think abundance is material, but it's not. It's the inner state of abundance. That might manifest on the external in certain ways. Things show up. But abundance is always an internal state. Deprivation cannot cut it off from perfect love, sustaining love and its home. Any other thoughts on that?
No, I think that's it. I think it's just to keep on the path of where we're going, because it's funny when it says like abundance lies in it, because that's what the ego tells us we need and stuff. I think the world is just obsessed with money sometimes, and it's all there for us if we just carry on in the same path and don't focus so much on that and just focus on the spiritual journey.
Yeah. And the material world is just there to learn from, facilitate the spiritual awakening. Now, if none of it's real, don't attach to any of it. It's just a means to an end. So whatever material abundance you have, it's just part of this awakening journey. What do you really need? You need enough to support you on the journey. That's what you need. And actually, more than that, seeking huge wealth or power or whatever is just ego, because you don't need it to awaken. And so it's to trust that, your basic needs will always be met. Whatever you truly need for the journey will be provided.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that you're worthy of that. You're an awakener of the world. And so the Holy Spirit, Remembrance of Perfect Love, supports, its servants, really. You're now in its service, and it gives you the help and the guidance and support you need to do that, to fulfill that function. And then you live in this inner abundance, and like, well, my needs are always taken care of. I don't need to worry. I may need to do something about it, but then I'll be guided as to what to do. So I'm just being done through, following instructions. The worry comes when you try and do it yourself. You try and plan it all yourself. Oh, this is what I'll do, and usually that plan is dysfunctional because it's based on a separate self and a sense of lack and scarcity. All right, happy to move on to number 7. Susie, if you can read that one, I practice today in hope.
I practice today in hope, for hope is indeed justified. My doubts are meaningless, for pure formless awareness of perfect love is certain. And the awareness of it is never absent. Certainty must live within me. Who am host to it? Within me, who am host to it? Does that mean who am I host to it? Why is that not sitting?
Well, it's who are host. Yeah, certainty must live within me. Who are host to it, but it's actually an I am. So I am, instead of the who, you wouldn't say me am, you'd say I am. Or you wouldn't say I are, would you? I are host to it. So in the same order, it's first person. Who am, I am host to it.
Who am host to it, okay. Thank you. This course removes all doubts which I have interposed between pure formless awareness of perfect love and my certainty of it.
No thoughts on that? She's saying there in summary.
To keep practicing, practice and know that it's always there. Even if you're not certain. I mean, yeah, you get those times where you don't feel certain, but there's always that kind of relief knowing that it is always there.
Yeah, if you feel uncertain, it's just because the ego's come up and it's obscured the truth. It's a block to the awareness of love's presence arising. And this course, another way of looking at this course, it removes all doubts which I have interposed between pure formless awareness of perfect love and my certainty of it. Right? Those doubts are the veil of illusion that cover it over and that block you off from it. So saying, you although there's a journey and you might have doubts, the certainty, the ultimate knowledge that pure formless awareness of perfect love is there, gives you the certainty. So, okay, I might temporarily vacillate and lose touch with it and cover it over, but it's always there. As you say, you're journeying through life and things come and go and the mind's busy and active and tempts you with all kinds of thoughts, but underneath that, you remind yourself that it's always there. This pure formless awareness of perfect love is always there. And so it's a done deal. Anyways, it's just a process of getting rid of all the blocks to the awareness of love's presence to be fully in that presence. And that's why we need a spiritual journey, seemingly. And that's the only meaning and purpose of your life. That's your destiny, is to do that work, to remove the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. And so that you can accept only that presence and have 100% certainty. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then just number 8, just a nice kind of closing statement. Francis, if you can read that.
8. I count on pure formless awareness of perfect love and not upon myself to give me certainty. And in its presence, I practice as its message directs me to. Its sureness lies beyond my every doubt. Its love remains beyond my every fear. The awareness of it is still beyond all dreams, and in my true awareness, that is its own.
Yeah. So any thoughts or feelings on that? You can kind of feel into that, can't you? It's a lovely, reassuring paragraph.
It is, yeah, it's good because it's like, it's very, I count on pure formless awareness of perfect love and not upon myself to give me certainty. It's very, the higher power kind of thing, it's easy, it feels easy, to surrender kind of, and to give that responsibility of counting on somebody. Like, I don't have to count on myself. There's something higher above me that I can count on. It feels good. It feels like, very supportive. The whole text today has been very, supportive, very yeah, which I like.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's been very nurturing, isn't it? Very it's a good space.
Yeah.
I think if you look at the translated version, a lot of people struggle with the word of God, the will of God, because that's the original. The thoughts of Him are still beyond all dreams in our minds, according to His will. Struggle with the idea of surrendering to this other will, His will. It sounds quite kind of command and control, but if you translate it as awareness, changes it, doesn't it? It's like, well, actually, it's just the awareness that is beyond all dreams, and that in my true awareness, according to His will. So I've translated that last one, thought of Him is still beyond all dreams in our minds, according to His will, as its love remains beyond my every fear. The awareness of it is still beyond all dreams, and in my true awareness, that is its own. So then you realize that it's just your own. It's your awareness, your correct awareness is God's awareness, is the awareness of pure formless awareness, perfect love. So there's no kind of surrendering to an outside will. It's your own true awareness that you're just becoming aware of and accepting. Rather than having to surrender to some outside force, surrender your will to this outside power. So you feel that. So it's very gentle. It's like so it's just your own deeper awareness. The higher power you were talking about, Francis, is just in your own awareness.
Yeah.
And so it's becoming one with that awareness and realizing everything is in that awareness. There's nothing else you really need to do because that awareness is the whole. It's everything. In the end, there is no doing. It's just pure being in that awareness. And you can enter into that state of pure being and just rest there. Then life is beautiful and blissful. And you'll be guided. A lot of people say, well, does that mean I just do nothing? Well, could do. Who knows? Maybe your path is to become a mystic and just sit and meditate. But more likely is that you just live an inspired life. You're being done through. Whatever you need to do is now guided, and you're told what to do. And it's being done through, and it's effortless action, and whatever the results are just unfold. Okay, so did a little bit of a summary on this, just so we can summarize it. I'll read the summary and the key message, and then we can do a meditation on it. So, Susie, if you can read paragraph 1 of the personalized executive summary for us.
The true reality that is beyond this world is obscured by my own denial of the truth and my thoughts of misery and death. The pure formless awareness of perfect love is in my origin and continuously envelopes me. It is my source of life, safety, and sustenance.
Yeah.
Illuminating my mind with happiness and love. Any denial of this state of pure formless awareness is a denial of my own safety, peace, joy, and awakening.
Any thoughts on that?
No, it's nice. It's really good to read, isn't it?
You find these summaries helpful? Are you reading them? Okay, that's good. Just sort of an overview, short, relatively short overview of the whole lesson, and then we can meditate on it as well. Okay, number 2, Francis, if you can read that.
When I ask for pure formless awareness of perfect love, it is granted to me. I don't need to understand its immense value. My acceptance is all that's needed. My asking reveals the treasures I've always sought, the acceptance of perfect love as my inheritance, and the related vision of my true self.
Treasure I've always sought. So this is the one thing we're all yearning for.
Yeah. We don't really.
There. It's available. The ego is cunning in that it seeks. It tells us that we're desiring something else. It's looking outside of us, which then covers over this one thing we're really yearning for. We don't find it if we're desiring anything else. So it's a complete letting go of everything else and the acceptance that this is everything. This is all we need. It's the one awareness, and we have it already. You don't need to go seek for it outside of yourself. It's already there. Amazing. Hallelujah for that. So all of the ego's seeking and striving and the suffering that it causes ends when you accept that it's already within you. Do you see how completely this thought system undoes the ego, and why we're going to resist it for all its illusory life is worth, because it's the end of the game. There's no call for the ego system anymore. Why are you desiring stuff, seeking and never finding it, feeling disappointed and having grievances because your desires aren't met when none of them are true? The whole system collapses. So the Buddha's insight was actually spot on, because he pointed out the fundamental nature of this so-called reality. The delusion is desire. What did we desire? But in the beginning, that thought of separation, we desired some other state. So no, that idea of separation offers us something. It offers me something I'm not getting from pure formless awareness of perfect love. So I want it. You see, why was it a powerful belief? Because it wasn't just a belief; it was invested with our desire. We said, "I want this. I value this." So then the mind has to find a way to make that happen in opposition to God. But the wanting, if there's no wanting, no desire to be something else, then what's left? Just the original state of pure formless awareness. So when you completely let go of desire, then you're home. You also let go. Without desire, you can't have any grievances, can you? So no grievances and no desire. Craving and aversion, as the Buddha called them. No craving, no aversion. You just end up in nirvana, he called it, which is pure formless awareness of perfect love, where there's no desire, there's no grievances, there's nothing that can go wrong. It just is what it is. Okay, does that make sense? All done. Let's ask Elena. Elena, back. Do you want to read one paragraph for us? The key message, or are you still busy searching for the wallet?
Well, I'm going to be putting a stop on his credit cards and his bank cards, so I need to get that done pretty quick. So could I just listen in, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
All doubts are behind me now. So, Susie, if you can read that.
Is that the pure formless? Oops. Do I need to zoom in or zoom up, or? What message did you want? The key message?
No, we're just in the last paragraph. All doubts are behind me now.
Yeah, where's that gone? I've got something coming up on mine that just says, oh, right, okay, it's all right, it's my fault. Hold on, not my fault. All doubts are behind me now. The power of my true self lies in my awareness. To enable me to heal as I was healed. I'm among the awakeners of the world, and my destiny is only here. Pure formless awareness of perfect love would never let me remain starved of the nourishment I need to live. By relying on my awareness of perfect love, I find the certainty I have yearned for. It remains a beacon of love and security. It's pure formless awareness, ever present, guiding me beyond all dreams and fears to rest in itself.
Okay, so
Beautiful, isn't it?
hmm.
Such a relief when you read it, when you see it, but again, like you said, they're just words. It's the experience or where we're being led to, isn't it?
Yeah, the words point you into the experience. If you're having the experience, then it starts to become yours, and that's what he calls knowledge. Once you experience it, you come to know it in your own experience. And the more you come to know it in your own experience, the more knowledge you have. So knowledge is always experiential. Knowledge is not theoretical, intellectual knowledge. That's not the way he uses the word knowledge. It's actually experiencing, feeling into, we might say, these words. Oh, that's just beautiful, and I feel the peace. I feel the security. I feel the joy that these words bring me. And so the words have the power to change my state into the state that they describe. They point you to that state. And I think, that's why we're doing the translations. I think using pure formless awareness of perfect love and true self and remembrance of perfect love instead of the Christian terms is a better pointer. It just points you into the experience of it more, doesn't it? So, because we're talking about awareness. Okay, it's in my own awareness. It's not some God. I mean, that's such a conceptual word, isn't it? What does that even mean? It's interesting that was chosen, but I think it was chosen out of a consciousness that was very much of an external God. It's an Anglo-Saxon word, very God. Right, there's God, big, sort of big man in the sky, big, father in the sky. And so the word lends itself to a conceptual understanding rather than an experiential one. Whereas pure formless awareness of perfect love lends itself to the experience, the awareness that it's talking about. It's much more descriptive of what it actually is, and God. So that's why we do the translations in a nutshell. Okay, and then just the key message. So Francis left us, so you can read that. So that's just very short. It's like one or two sentences, like absolutely the key message of the lesson.
Okay. I must apologise today because I'm on my phone and I'm messing about. The pure formless, meaning that I'm having to move it from landscape to whatever because modern technology, hey. Pure formless awareness of perfect love is my eternal source of life and happiness. My denial of this fact obscures this truth, but through my desire for and acceptance of it, I can awaken and embody my true self, guided by an unwavering awareness of perfect love, bringing healing and awakening to the world. I actually really love this because I'm noticing a shift, Jono, as I'm speaking to you, because although I've been saying all these things about love, I truly, truly, really believe in it. So I have this huge desire for it, but I get obscured. So it's like everything that we've been reading is bringing home to me the truth of what I believe in for a long time. Although I keep in that awareness, they still see something in your subconscious that's, because I was going to ask about once you've accepted it, everything just goes. So it feels like it's a huge acceptance for it just to all disappear into the truth of who you are. Like today's session has been like every now and again when you've spoken, it's like a needle pin pricking in my mind and bursting these bubbles of illusion.
Okay. And you feel that happening.
Yeah. And I feel really, I always feel good about stuff, even though, it's that whole illusion, that denial. It's dying more and more, isn't it, for the truth to be empowered through you, rather than what I thought was true. I don't know if I'm making sense to you, John. I'm just listening in and just, yeah, it seems very, it's been a long time since I've been on, but it's, yeah.
Yeah, well, come on more. We need to talk about your membership. Actually, it's
yeah,
coming to an end in about 10 days, I think. So
yeah, I think.
But why don't we book a one-on-one if you want to do that, and then can have a chat about it all then. Said you wanted to talk about what your purpose is. About purpose, or
Yeah, it's not about purpose. It's like you said, every time you come on, you realise there is no purpose apart from just undoing all the bullshit that you believed for all your life, and there's no better freedom than doing that, is there? And reminding yourself to be here now. Be here now, knowing in the awareness of the truth. And it is taking you, like you said, it's taking you, it's guiding you, it's nurturing you, it's taking you to where you're meant to be, and there's no rush.
Well, that's then the unfolding purpose. So
Yeah.
if you're meant to teach or heal or whatever, then you'll be guided in that direction, and that will be part of your own awakening.
Yeah, because like I said, at the moment, it's very much focused on undoing and going to doing what I want to do, which I've never really done since I was a kid. You had so many constraints and whatever, and this is just, I think it's I'm just very, very grateful that, even though you can just see it all, it's just, and not even see it all, if that makes sense. Okay.
All right. So any other thoughts?
No.
The lesson? Shall we do a meditation on it then?
Yep.
Okay with that? All right. So a moment to get the recordings going. Okay, so this is the meditation on today's lesson 165. I'll just meditate on the personalized executive summary and the key message for 20 minutes or so. So just sitting comfortably with your feet shoulder width apart, your back straight. Cup your hands in your lap, close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in. Clench the sphincter muscle, that's the muscle you use to contract the flow of urine or squeeze the last drops out, to lock the energy in, pull the energy up the spine into your heart center, putting one hand on your heart, connecting with your heart space, and draw it up into the crown of your head, pausing at the top of the inhale. So it's a maximal inhale breath. Pause at the top of the inhale. Smile. So just scan your mind. Noticing any thoughts going on, any emotions, related body sensations, anything that feels at all restrictive, limiting, contracted, constricting, and negative of pure formless awareness. Anything like that, you're just going to blow it away with the breeze of your breath. When you exhale, pull the lower stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out. And you rest. Deep peace and stillness. So into this peace and stillness, you're going to allow these words. So the summary of our translated version of this lesson. It's really really focused, energetic summary of this lesson contains. So just allow yourself to feel into these words. Breathing in and out through your nose. And notice how stomach rises and the chest rises. When you listen to these words in the gap between breaths, breath creates some spacious awareness to receive the words, like you're emptying your cup, an empty cup. Empty vessel can receive. If your cup is full, the mind is full already with its own ideas and thoughts, and can't. So breathing in as I speak the words through the nose, pause, you hold the breath briefly, and then you're going to exhale out through the nose as I pause, and then you speak the words as an affirmation. And you might want to put one hand on your heart center, just to really connect with your heart space, ground into the heart, take your energy down there. And imagine you breathing into the heart center. That helps you. And this becomes an affirmation of the heart, affirming the truth of this. Of this lesson. In this open, calm, quiet, peaceful space. So breathing in through the nose, pause, listen to these words. When I pause, repeat them. We'll continue on like that. So we read the whole personalized executive summary this way. And just really feel into the words. So allow feelings to arise, to envelop you if they want to. So one, breathing in, and the true reality as beyond this world is obscured by my own denial of the truth. So exhale out through the nose and affirm that. True reality is beyond this world, is obscured by my own denial of. Truth. You exhale, breathing in again. And my thoughts of misery and death. Exhale. Breathing in again. Your formless awareness of perfect love is my source and continuously envelops me. So use your breath and just feel that envelopment. You breathe it into every pore, every cell, the muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. And you are fully enveloped. By this source, pure forms the words of perfect love. Breathing in again is the source of my life, safety, and sustenance. Illuminating my mind with happiness and love. Any denial of this state of pure formless awareness is a denial of my own safety, peace, joy, and awakening. Exhale the truth of that. Feel into the truth of these words and really want to deny your own safety, peace, joy, and awakening. Breathing in again. More inhale breath, breathe in this pure formless awareness of perfect love and say, when I ask for pure formless awareness of perfect love, it is granted to me. So feel that awareness arising now in your mind just by asking for it. I don't need to understand its immense value. I don't need to understand its immense value. Breathing in again. My acceptance is all that's needed. My asking reveals the treasure I've always sought. Acceptance of my perfect love as my inheritance and the related vision of my true self. So just breathe into those words. Acceptance of perfect love as my inheritance, and this vision, true perception, my true self. So just feel into those words. You accept perfect love as what you are. Rest in that acceptance now. Claim your true self. All doubts are behind me now. Power of my true self lies in my awareness. Enable me to heal as I was healed. Power of my true self lies in my awareness to enable. That enables. Me to heal as I was healed, as I am healed. I am among the awakeners of the world. Breathe in as you say that. And my destiny is only here. Pure formless awareness of perfect love. Would never let me remain starved of the nourishment I need to live. Coming in again, relying on my awareness of perfect love. I find the certainty I've yearned for. Which remains a beacon of love and security in a seemingly dark world. It's pure formless awareness, ever present, guiding me beyond all dreams and fears. To rest in itself. So the key message is you breathe in again. Pure formless awareness of perfect love is my eternal source of life and happiness. Remember to affirm, say these out loud as affirmations as you exhale. Breathe in again. My denial of this fact secures this truth through my intent to have it and acceptance of it. I can awaken and embody my true self. Guided by an unwavering awareness of perfect love. Healing and awakening to the world. And so it is. Amen. Amen means so be it. So it is. And so just rest in this state of pure formless awareness, perfect love. Accept it to your heart, your mind, every part of your body, every part of your mind. So nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, just breathe, relax, be still, and surrender into the stillness, into the peace. Next. Couple of minutes of deep silence. So gently coming back on this deep connected state into an awareness of the body and the breath, senses and the world. And on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, you just breathe in, you notice the stomach rise and the chest rise and the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Clench the sphincter muscle and you lock the energy in. Notice the energy rising up the spine into your heart center, putting one hand on your heart, connecting with your heart space. All the energy all the way up into the crown of your head. Just pausing at the top of the inhale. You scan your mind. Just noticing any thoughts, emotions, body sensations going on, particularly anything that feels negative, limiting, contracted, constricting in any way, and you just exhale, blow that out. And you go. Nothing really is. It's going, gone. Lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. So you just count of 2. Notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground. Noticing what you're feeling and touching. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth, smell in your nose. Notice what you're hearing in the surrounding environment. Noticing all these things from the still, calm, and surrendered state. Awareness. You anchor this awareness in. Carry this awareness wherever you go. You not be absolutely certain of it, just have the intent and want it. You intend it, so it is yours. Always, because it's always there. This is your fundamental awareness, without which you would have no life. Just to remain aware of that awareness. It's the art of living consciously in this world. It's the art of letting go of anything that disturbs that awareness, any blocks to that awareness. So to help you stay in this awareness, just practice today's lesson frequently, ideally every hour. And if anything comes in to disturb you, just remind yourself of the lesson that I will not deny my awareness of perfect love in this moment. And use the breath break I've sent you if you have 5 minutes to do it, or follow the instructions I've sent you to do it in under a minute in your Telegram and email message. I'll top you up and keep you in this awareness, in the flow this awareness creates in your life, which is what I wish for you. So it is said and so it is done. And now on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So just take a minute to look around, observing various objects in the room. Focus on one just for a few seconds. Notice that this awareness is still there. Just because you've opened your eyes, it hasn't gone away. Close your eyes briefly. Notice that awareness there. You open your eyes, look at something else. The same awareness that underlies that object, and look somewhere else again. Focus on anything randomly, and you'll see that it's always the same awareness. If you're not naming and judging and labeling that object, then the awareness is identical always. And it's this awareness that is the awareness, the thought of God, the awareness of perfect love that this lesson's talking about. So you carry it with you wherever you go. Remind yourself by practicing the lesson and stay in this awareness, no matter what seems to happen on the level of form. So that brings us to the end of the meditation. And think of this session. There's some text to do, but I think let's do that later tonight. If anyone wants to. So
Thanks, Johnny.
Susie, yeah, you said you had to go. Do you want to join later for some text, or is that you for today?
Yeah, I've got to nip out soon. Thank you so much for that,
Yeah.
Johnny.
Yeah. It's only a pleasure. So I'll just